This is Baywatch, which means for this review I'm going to have to look like everyone else in the film. So without further ado, yeah, let's get on with this review. I'm joking. I can't do the whole review shirtless. I don't have the Zac Efron or the Rock body to do that. Right, that's better. So the story of Baywatch is about this lifeguard patrol unit who take matters into their own hands when they start to find drugs and dead bodies washing up on their beach. That is legit the premise of this film, along with a load of other funny moments, a load of funny characters. Honestly, this film is so much fun, and this feels like a classic Hollywood film in the sense that you got all the main Hollywood stereotypes. You got the main big buff guy character who's the main star, hence The Rock. You've got a load of fit women in the film to obviously sell it to the guys in the audience. You've got the action, which the audience expects from a big summer blockbuster like this film. And you've also got the comedy, which general audiences love. Honestly, you go in and watch this film and you just look at it and you go, yes, honestly, this does feel like a classic big blockbuster Hollywood film in the making. This feels like a film that in about a decade's time or even longer, like 20 years time, we'll look back at this film and go, yeah, that is a classic Hollywood film, you know, just like other classic comedies like Daddy Daycare and whatnot. So yeah, as I mentioned, the film is so much fun, and the chemistry between all the characters is really good in this film as well. Dwayne Johnson and Zac Efron, the humour between them two is absolutely spot on. It is perfect in this film, and it's so funny as during the beginning of the film, we see The Rock's character keep calling Zac Efron's character, Matt Brody, basically nicknames such as One Direction, or a nickname that got everyone in the audience laughing was when he called him, hey, High School Musical. All the other supporting cast in this film are great as well, such as Alexandra Daddario. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. But no, she was great in it as well. She was kind of like another major supporting player in this film alongside The Rock and Zac Efron. She did a good job as well. And yeah, again, she adds to the fun in certain scenes, which I will talk about later on in this review. But going back to what I was saying just a moment ago with the action is amazing in this film. Honestly, I wasn't really expecting the action to be top notch as I thought it would be. Like, I was going to this film being like, right, this is a comedy, so obviously the action scenes are going to be very comedic, which some of them are, but some of them, generally, you're watching it and you're going, wow, this is really well directed. Honestly, this is a really well directed scene, such as right at the very beginning of the film, when basically these two kids end up falling off this pier, and then obviously The Rock and his team go on their quad bikes to go save them, but the newest recruit, Matt Brody, played by Zac Efron, he ends up going solo. He goes on his motorbike and he ends up riding the bike along the pier, so obviously trying to move people out of the way, and then there's a great shot where like the camera sort of pans, he jumps off the bike and dives into the water. I thought that was a really well directed scene, honestly. Like, that scene alone was amazing. When I saw that scene in the cinema when he dives off the pier, I was like, I literally went, whoa, that is cool. Or there's another scene where The Rock is chasing down this guy and basically they're both on mini speedboats and then they end up crashing into this house, and then later they go into the house and then a good old-fashioned fist fight ensues. Honestly, that scene was great as well. And again, the final battle that takes place in this film as well, really well done, really comedic, got me laughing at the end. I won't spoil that for you guys, because if you guys are planning to go watch Baywatch, then honestly, the final battle and how it all, the climax of it all, honestly, I just found so hilarious. So going off talking about the action side of things and going on to talk about more about the comedic side of things, the comedy in this film is amazing. Honestly, it had me laughing in so many scenes, which I won't spoil for you guys, hence why this is a non-spoiler review, because I want you guys to go out and watch Baywatch because it's such a fun, big blockbuster summer film. But there were certain scenes where I can kind of talk about this one because it's been shown in multiple trailers and you've probably seen it if you've seen any trailer for Baywatch. But there's a scene where basically The Rock and Zac Efron are in the morgue, and he's saying like, right, we need to get some hard evidence because they're trying to find evidence that there's been drugs smuggled on their beach, and so they're looking at this dead body to try and find anything about how he died and whatnot. And yeah, and there's a scene where The Rock's like, right, look under his scrotum, and then the whole time Zac Efron's like, I can't do it, man, I can't do it, like, oh. And then, you know, he's thinking that, oh, this is a serious operation, but then, you know, you see The Rock whip out his phone and then boom, take a bunch of photos, and he's just like, just a whole hump of ball sack. Honestly, I was bawling with laughter in this scene, and the scene only gets funnier later on as, again, like I said, if you've watched any trailer for Baywatch, you know how the scene progresses on to be even more funnier later on. But honestly, I love this scene. It was just, oh my god, it was just amazing. Also, may I add that the main villain is hot? Seriously, she did a good job as playing the villain in this film. She was very seductive, very sinister, and that's what obviously you look for in a villain. And I love how they even acknowledge in the film where it's like, there's one scene where she's interrogating this real estate guy because she's trying to take control over the whole bay, and that's the whole plot of this film. And, you know, they go into a lot more detail of it, but I'm not going to go into all the story details in this review. But basically there's a scene where she's telling her henchman to basically kill this real estate guy as he's failed to deliver what she wanted, and then he's just like, wait, what? You're gonna kill me? Because she's holding a gun to his face, and she's like, what do you think I am, a typical Bond villain? See, I love how they just acknowledge this cheesy type of villain role that she's playing, but at the same time she plays it so well, and honestly, she was a great villain in this film. You know, honestly, I don't know what else to say other than she's fit, she's hot, and she played a really good villain. I don't want to talk too negatively about this film, but there are a few moments in this film where I was watching it and I was kind of like, that was bad. Such as there's a scene where The Rock is saving a few people along with the rest of his lifeguard patrol unit because there's a fire out to sea on this boat, and honestly, the CGI fire, oh my days. But again, like I said, I don't really want to talk too negatively about this film because the bad CGI, I let it slip because it was really the only thing in this film that kind of stood out to me where I was like, yeah, that was clearly sort of, that wasn't a real fire. Also, there are a few scenes which I felt were a bit out of place in this film, such as during the middle of this film. There's a scene where they're first finding a dead body washed up on their beach, and it's kind of, the tone has gone from comedic to all of a sudden serious, and you're kind of like, all the characters are like, whoa, this is serious now, seriously, we need to start looking into it, and hence that's what starts their whole journey in this film. But then all of a sudden the scene then changes from a serious shot to them looking at a dead body and observing it, to then one of the characters in the shower, naked, singing a song by Katy Perry, and it's a really comedic scene. And obviously one of the lifeguards walks in and she's kind of like, you do realise when we wash in here, we wash with our uniforms on. And it's a very comedic scene, which I thought was hilarious, but also in my mind when I was watching it, I was kind of like, well, this is a bit of a weird transition, because then the next scene following afterwards legit talks about what they've just discovered about the dead body and the drugs, and I'm kind of like, this feels a bit out of place, this scene. This scene, you could have taken it out of there. It didn't distract too much, but in my head, while I was watching it, I was kind of like, you know, you could have cut that scene out, but whatever, I'll let it slide. But they're the only two negative points I had about this film. Honestly, this film was a really good sort of character development film for Zac Efron's character, Matt Brody. I thought I was really going to hate his character in this film when I saw him in all the trailers. I thought the character was just going to be an overall douchebag throughout the whole film. But then as the film goes on, you start to really grow with his character, and you really start to understand him as a character, what he's been through, why he acts the way he does, and yeah, and I thought that was really good, and I thought that was something that I was glad that this film did. I thought they were just gonna play off that, oh, Zac Efron, he's the douchebag character, you know, and The Rock was gonna be, you know, the big, oh, everyone loves him character. But no, they did some really good character development with Zac Efron's character, Matt Brody, and yeah, and that's another aspect of this film which I really enjoyed, which was the character development. Overall, I had a ton of fun with this film. Baywatch, honestly, I can't wait to pick this film up on Blu-ray later on when it hits stores later this year. Honestly, it's such a fun film. Go out and see it if you haven't already. It's such a fun film, and you'll leave the cinema, honestly, feeling like you've just seen a really good film. And the rating I'm probably going to give Baywatch will be Probably an 8 out of 10, which is a higher rating than I honestly thought I was going to give this film, because, you know, I was reading a few reviews for this film before going in, just to sort of get myself ready for maybe what the general audience was feeling, and, you know, it was kind of a mixed bag. Some people thought it was good, some people thought it was really trash. For me, I love the film. I love the film. You know, I don't know if that just says something about me as a person, but honestly, I love this film. I thought it was really funny, really well directed. The comedic timing in most scenes was really well done. The action was spot on. The character development was great. The storyline, while maybe not the most memorable storyline, you know, in Hollywood history, I mean, you will leave Baywatch and then after a couple of days you will be like, wait, what was the plot of that film again? But you will remember a few key certain scenes of the film that stand out, and honestly, that's what sells the film for me. And that's why it got my rating of an 8 out of 10. If you guys want to read more about my Baywatch review, then you can go on to ramseyreviews.weebly.com right now. Website address will be in the video right now, or if you're lazy, then you can go in the description and click the link, as the link to my website will be there as well, so you can read more about what I thought on Baywatch as I go in more in depth about the film and the spoilers. Not that there's much really to spoil, considering you've seen a lot of it in the trailers, but whatever, it's there. If you want to check it out, if you want to give it a read, I'd appreciate it. So yeah, ramseyreviews.weebly.com, check out my Baywatch review, and you can check out other reviews I've done in there in the past. So yeah, anyway guys, if you enjoyed this video, then please leave a like and also comment below what you thought of Baywatch and will you be checking it out this week. Okay guys, that is it for me today, and as always, don't forget to subscribe for more content like this in the near future. Anyway guys, that will be it for me today, so until the next video, ta-ra.